Welcome, 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 everyone. I am so happy to be back with you today with another installment of our Facebook Live show and the Legal Roadmap podcast. Now, I'm recording this towards the end of November 2020. It's airing pretty soon. So you may be like me, trying to think about all the things, all of your big plans and dreams and goals for 2021. So today's episode is going to help you make sure that as you are making all of those plans, that you are not forgetting to think about legal. We're going to talk about why it is so important to have a legal plan for your 2021 goals, your ambitious dreams, things you want to do. I think we're all ready to say goodbye to 2020. So as you are making these plans, we're going to go through, I think about 4 reasons why, or 4 advantages to making a legal plan. And don't worry, if you have no idea how to make a legal plan or what that would even look like, we have a challenge coming up in December that is just for exactly this purpose. It's called the Prep to Scale Challenge. It is going to help you. I will share more details about it later in this podcast episode, so stay tuned. But the last day to sign up is December 6th. So if you're listening after that, I'm so sorry you missed it. There will be a chance that you can get on the wait list for the next time we do it. But I'll share the details of how to sign up and all of that. It'll be in the show notes too, so you can just click very easily and get into that. All right, so my standard disclaimer, I am a lawyer, but I am not your lawyer unless you have hired us to work with you one-on-one. So please take everything in this podcast not as legal advice. It is just meant to be information, meant to get your wheels turning and help you start thinking about things. But if you have a specific question for your business, please get with a lawyer, whether that's us or someone else, to make sure you're getting good advice. All right, so number 1 reason why a legal plan is so important for 2021 for your business. I want you to stop losing sleep over everything that you don't know about legal for your business. So I hear this from our new clients all the time, that they feel like they don't know what they don't know. And it's just kind of this like nagging thought in the back of their mind, maybe as they're falling asleep, or if you're like me, you wake up at 3 a.m. because your kid needs something and then you can't go back to sleep. These are the kinds of things that we maybe start thinking about where we think, oh my gosh, I don't know, I've got this big deal coming up, or I'm working on a collaboration, or I've got this new client that's kind of causing me some problems, and I'm just not sure how it's going to turn out. So you didn't go to law school. So of course you don't know what you don't know. This is not your job, but it's really important that you take care of this in your business, even though you are not a legal expert. You don't know where you don't know. So this is where our resources are going to come in. And this is why I think it's really exciting that we have this challenge coming up, that we are going to help you start to put some of these pieces in place. If you've never looked at legal for your business, don't worry. You are in a great place to start. We're going to start with the basics. We're going to start with your legal foundation, and then we will build up from there. All right. Number 2 reason why a legal plan is so important is, this is really one of the core values of our firm, is I want you to avoid learning lessons the hard and expensive way. So a plan is going to save you money. It's very easy for people to spend a lot of money putting in legal protections that maybe are not even right for where they are in business, that are maybe not the most urgent. And on the flip side of that, it's very common for people to miss the protections they really need, to not put them in place when they should be. And then a problem comes up later and it is, 5 to 10 times as expensive to fix it when you're kind of looking backwards. If you are doing things proactively, it's always going to be more efficient. You're going to save a ton of money. So we want to help you think ahead, and whatever your big dreams are, maybe you're writing a book, maybe you are putting together a new group coaching program, maybe you're starting a membership, maybe you are launching a digital product shop. No matter what your big goals and dreams are for 2021, I guarantee that there's probably some legal protections that need to be put in around that maybe you haven't thought about. So that's what we want to help you with. We want to help you be proactive. We actually had a call today with one of our multi-million-dollar annual revenue clients. And they, I think a lot of us are like this. They are launching a certification program and they just hadn't even thought to run it by us. And we've been working with this client for years. We know them very well. We have kind of trained them to come to us when they're doing something new so that we can talk about it proactively. But she said to me, I honestly it never occurred to me that we would need anything legal around a certification program. And so that's why I kind of keep my ear to the ground with our retainer clients and make sure I'm watching what they're doing, because they do sometimes just forget to tell us. But I want you to have that advantage of thinking proactively about what's coming up in your business and what could you do early, inexpensively. Maybe you could use a contract template and go ahead and put that protection in place for a very low price. Whereas if you wait until later when you have a customer complaining or a big problem and now you're sending a cease and desist letter, or you're maybe having to file a lawsuit, that is much, much, much more expensive than putting those simple protections in place on the front end. So a couple examples of that. One would be a client dispute. So let's say you're a service provider, a graphic designer, a website designer. We were just talking to one last week. And maybe you have a nightmare client. You, of course, then go back and look at your contract to say, how can I deal with this, or how can I get out of it? And a lot of the time, those things are missing because, again, you don't know what you don't know. Hopefully, you have not had a lot of terrible legal issues in your business. So maybe you haven't added those things to your contract that never occurred to you could go wrong. But I will tell you, we deal with a lot of these issues on the back end. And so our contract templates are written with this stuff. We've kind of got all those hard lessons learned already baked in, so that when those things do go wrong, and the longer you're in business, it's not if, it's when you have a client dispute, when there's kind of a disagreement or a question about what is the next step. I don't know if you can hear those sirens. It's so much easier to fix it. All right. So that's kind of one example. If you have a client dispute, if your contract is rock solid, it's very easy to get to the other side of that without having to spend a bunch of money, a bunch of tears, a bunch of drama, and hopefully everyone feels good about it. Second example is with copycats. So under our copyright law in the United States, if you find that someone has, let's say, copied your whole course, which happens more than you would think, you have to have a copyright certificate in your hand before you can file a lawsuit. So you have to file everything with the U.S. Copyright Office. You have to get approval. You have to get the certificate back. Normally, that's going to take 8 to 9 months. You can expedite it for a lot more money, but you are not going to be able to get as much damages if you are registering after the fact. So if there's anything in your business that's absolutely critical that you protect, that's really your moneymaker, we want to protect our moneymakers, you really need to be doing that early. And it's not expensive to register your copyrights. It takes a little time, and then you've just got to wait. But if you're having to do that under the crunch and the stress of, oh my gosh, someone's lifted my course and I really can't do anything about it because I didn't register the copyrights, that then becomes much more expensive and stressful. So we want to figure out if we need to protect our copyrights early rather than when it's actually an issue. The third example I want to give you is with your trademarks. So this is maybe your company name, your brand name. If you sell a product, it could be the name of the product, or if you have a tagline or something you use a lot, or maybe some methods or concepts that you talk about that you've got a brand name around. Really, the most important thing with trademarks early in your business is to make sure that you are actually not stepping on anyone else's toes. So you want to make sure that when you come up with that brilliant product name or company name or course name, you want to make sure that no one else is already using it. It's very inexpensive. It's an easy search to run. We do it all the time for our clients. You can do it yourself. We have lots of resources around that, and we'll be sharing those during the challenge. But if you don't do this search early and you end up, creating all this branding, spending all this money promoting a product or a company name, and then you find out that somebody else has already used it, or you get a cease and desist letter from them, or you go and try and register your trademark later and you find out someone else has already done it, then again, it's much more expensive to rebrand. It's much more expensive to have to teach all of your people, no, I'm not using that name anymore. I'm over here under this different name. And of course, if you're having to hire a lawyer to respond to a cease and desist, that gets very expensive. So we want to take care of these things early. It's very simple and inexpensive to do these things the right way, proactively. This is why I want you making a legal plan. All right. And then I kind of hinted at this, and I have another podcast episode coming up on this topic. Some things can actually wait and may not be that urgent in your business. So some legal protections are for a more advanced business. Some other legal protections are more important to do early on. So I would put a trademark registration in that category. It makes a lot of sense if you've got, high 5-figure or 6-figure course that's bringing you in a lot of revenue. We want to make sure nobody's copying that brand name. If you are just launching, you've never done a course on a specific topic, maybe you're still kind of trying to figure out if your audience even wants it, if it's going to be profitable, we might want to hold off on that. It just is maybe not as important that you spend the money on that at that point in your business. And so, again, I've got a podcast episode coming up on this, but I want to tease that a little bit, that even my $10 million annual revenue clients don't have unlimited time and resources. They're not doing all the legal protections around all the things, because it is not just money. It's also time and energy and making sure we get it right. So there is always a need to prioritize. What do we need to do now? What can maybe wait until later? And so by making a plan, by knowing what is important in your business, again, what are your money makers? What do we really need to put some guardrails around and make sure that we've got the legal done right? You're going to save money. You're going to keep yourself from spending money on things that you probably don't need to do right now that can maybe wait until later. All right, the number 3 thing is that having a plan is going to help you scale with confidence. And we're calling our challenge the Prep to Scale Challenge. So I think a lot of us are looking to, grow your business to scale in 2021. And having a plan and making sure that you've got those right legal protections in place, they're going to help you achieve all those goals. So it's going to make you look more professional. If you have a really rock solid contract that you're using with your services clients, so let's say, again, a web designer, a graphic designer, a life coach, it is going to probably make you more confident during the sales process. And then when the client gets that contract and they read it and they see, oh, this is exactly what we talked about. There's no surprises here. I can read it easily. I know what I'm agreeing to. Great. It gives them a lot of confidence to hire you. It's just going to make everything work better. Same thing if you are maybe launching an affiliate program in 2021 to promote your courses or your services. If you feel like you have a really good set of rules for your program, you know how it's going to run, and that's all set out very clearly in your contract, it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make your affiliates probably work a little harder because they know, okay, this is legit. This is professional. I know this is going to go the way that I'm expecting. There's not going to be a bunch of messiness and a bunch of, people not doing what they said they were going to do. It's all very clear. Same thing with collaborators. So let's say maybe you're doing bringing some guest experts into your course, or maybe you're creating something new with a friend or a colleague. Anytime you're collaborating, there's a lot of room, a lot of anxiety around who's going to own what, who's going to do what. What if this goes amazingly well? How are we going to split all the money? Or what if it goes terribly? How are we going to, make sure we all walk away and feel good about it? By taking care of that, by handling that on the front end, again, proactively, we want to make a plan. If you see that you've got some collaborations coming up in 2021, going ahead and knowing that you know what to do legally is going to give you more confidence to enter into those relationships and to really, I say contracts are really freeing, which I think surprises some people, because I know, especially creatives, often think that a contract really puts some distance between them and the client. They want it to be all just like freewheeling and easy and lovey-dovey, which is fine. But what the contract really does is it gives everyone peace of mind, because there's no question about what you agreed to. It's all there in writing. If anyone has a question later, you can come back and look at it. So you don't have to be worried. You don't have to have that nagging thought at the back of your mind, like, oh, what if they ask for more revisions than we agreed to, or like, I really only thought I was going to do this many versions, and now we're in like version 17, and I feel like I can't say no. Or, we see scope creep a lot in creative relationships. So having a contract where that's all set out very clearly is going to give you the confidence and the peace of mind to just be creative, because you don't have to worry about all that stuff. It's in the contract. It's like set it and forget it. You worry about it once, you take care of it, and then it really frees you up, I think, to have a very open and creative relationship with your clients after that point. So making your plan is going to help you grow your business the way you want to do with more confidence. That's number 3. All right, number 4. If you are serious about creating a lasting, successful business, you can't afford not to handle legal properly in your business. So this is really my passion, is helping women entrepreneurs create successful, profitable, sustainable businesses so that they never have to go back to that corporate day job that they left. And so they can have that flexibility that they want with their families. That's why I started my own business. I had twin babies at home and I was working like a crazy person and traveling, and it just wasn't working anymore. So that's why I started my own firm, and I want to help give other people that freedom. But the real key part of that is making them sustainable. So this is not just some short term where we're going to do this for a year or two and then it's all going to go up in flames. We want to help you create something that is lasting. Maybe even you want to leave a legacy with your business. To do that, legal is just part of it. You've got to make sure that you're doing things the right way. You're complying with the rules, the regulations. We see this a lot as our clients are growing, and now all of a sudden they realize that there are all these employment laws, and maybe they haven't structured their team the right way and they could get into hot water. Or they realize that they are maybe doing a contest or a giveaway that is not compliant with Federal Trade Commission rules. We actually did some research on that for a very large client last week, and I see people do this wrong all the time. And that's something that, maybe you can slide under the radar, you can get away with for a little bit, but the longer you're in business, the higher your profile is. And again, we want you to have a long-lasting business. We want you to be successful and profitable. The longer you are in business, the less you can get away with that, because it is kind of a law of averages. The longer you're doing things wrong, the more likely that at some point somebody's going to catch on and either report you or have an issue, and you get a legal compliance issue. And believe me when I tell you, you do not want to have that come as a surprise. So now is a great time, again, to take a look at what you're doing in 2021. Maybe you've got a big launch coming up. We've been working a lot, and I did a podcast episode recently around the Federal Trade Commission rules around using testimonials or earnings. If you're talking about you can 5x your revenue or you can lose 100 pounds, we have to be really careful around these types of things. So these are, this is a cost of doing business. This is, I don't want to call it a downside, but this is kind of the flip side of all of that freedom and flexibility, and you don't have to work for corporate anymore. Now, guess what? You are corporate. So now you have to comply with these things. It's not optional. It is part of doing business. We have to do this the right way if we want a profitable, sustainable company. You cannot ignore it. It will come back to bite you. And it's really, it kind of goes back to my first point. Like if you're losing sleep because you've quit your job, maybe your partner has quit their job and either joined your business or is doing something else, you're probably very reliant on the revenue from your company. If it went up in flames because you did something wrong, it could even be something as simple as using photographs that you didn't have a license to on your website. That can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It can put you out of business if you get sued for something like that. So all of these things, these are like the things that are hiding in the closet, like waiting to come out and get you. And I'm not usually a scaremonger. I don't like to, try and say, oh, your business is going to collapse at any moment if you don't do 900 legal things. No, that's not true. But the opposite is a little bit true. If you're not paying attention to anything, if you are just freewheeling and flying by the seat of your pants, the longer that you do that, the more your risk is that something will go wrong. And again, I'm really passionate about helping you create a business that can be long lasting, that can provide the freedom and flexibility that you probably are wanting in your life and for your family. So legal is part of that. This is, I sometimes say you got to pull on your big girl panties, and this is just something that has to be dealt with. So by putting it into a plan, it becomes manageable. It's not like, oh, I've got, 500 different legal things that I need to do. No, you can look at, and we're going to walk you through this in the challenge. What do you need to do now? What can maybe wait until a little bit later? And you can kind of plot it out. You can budget for it. You can plan some time to do it. And you can figure out, what do I need to do now? What can maybe wait until next year, depending on what you've got going. All right. So those are my 4 reasons why a plan is really important. And now I'm going to tell you about the Prep to Scale Challenge that's coming up December 7. So the last day to sign up is December 6th again. So if you're listening to this and it's kind of close to the date, I want you to go to awbfirm.com/challenge to sign up. There will be a link in the show notes, so you can just click on that. And it's a 5-day challenge, and every day you're going to receive an email with a prompt. It's going to be like a 5 to 10 minute. It's not a huge time commitment, but a real actionable step that I want you to take to see where your business is ready to scale and where it might need a little tune up. So we're going to talk about your website. We're going to talk about your contracts. We're going to talk about your team. And we're going to talk about your intellectual property, your copyrights and trademarks. And then on day 5, we're going to pull it all together. And I'm going to show you, if you're watching this on video, you can see this beautiful handout that our marketing director, Sarah Kate, has put together. You're going to get a booklet that is going to walk you through. So this is going to be very easy for you. It's very manageable. It will not feel overwhelming. That's my favorite part. So on day 5, we're going to go through all of the information and the things that you've thought about in the prior 4 days of all those different areas of your business. And we're going to help you prioritize and figure out, this is what I need now. This is what can maybe wait until later. And then help you think about a budget around that. Do I need one-on-one support? Could I use a template? Could I DIY? Where should I really put my legal dollars to make sure that they are going the right way? We're also going to be active in our Legal Roadmap Facebook group. So if you're a longtime podcast listener, you may already be in that group. If you're not, go ahead, feel free to join it. It's up and running right now. We'll include a link in the show notes for that as well. And we're going to have bonus video content in the group. So we'll dive a little deeper. We're going to be sharing legal guides, swipe copy, all kinds of really useful resources. So you are going to be ready to actually take action. This is not just like I'm dumping information on you. You're going to be like ready to go, ready to actually put this into place in your business. You're also going to have the chance to connect with other business owners, and we're going to have awesome prizes. So you are going to want to be part of this. It's going to be really fun. I promise. It's not going to be dry and boring. We try and make it as actionable and real and fun as possible. So again, if you want to join us for this 5-day challenge, head on over to awbfirm.com/challenge. We're also going to have a fast track option. So if you're like, I don't need 5 days, I would like to just sit down and maybe spend an hour and go through it all at once. That's going to be a $27 option. So if you want that is at awbfirm.com/fast-track. Again, that link will be in the show notes as well. And if you do the fast track option, we're also going to have an exclusive bonus Q&A with me in January to kind of go over everything after you've made your plan. If you've got questions or you want to run something by me, there will be an opportunity for that. And that is just for our fast track participants. So I hope you can tell how excited I am about this challenge coming up. We're all going to have a nice Thanksgiving break, and then we're going to come back energized, ready to finish out the year strong and go into 2021 with a solid legal plan. We're not going to be losing sleep anymore over the legal things that we don't know. We're not going to be making expensive mistakes. We are going to be like fired up, ready to go, ready to do things the right way. So I hope you'll join us. And the rest of the year, we're going to be talking more about prioritizing legal, what you need to do, what can wait. I'm bringing on a financial expert to talk about budgeting. So we've got lots and lots of other good content. So go ahead and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. You're not going to want to miss a single episode. All right, I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.